What is up, guys? My name, of course, is Paxton Plays, and today we're here for an interesting video. Instead of a PTCGO video, I thought I would talking about something that happened in the trading card gaming community that seems pretty big and is a very big announcement. Now, as you can see, I'm on PokeBeach.com right now, and what it says: expanded format for entirety of Houston regionals, expanding. Now, this is huge news. Just before I even read this article, you just know this is huge news. Expanded, like, look at standard right now. These are the sets in standard. There's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets with a couple like 3 mini sets and like some extra promos. Compared to this. Look at all this. This is huge. It takes up like the entire screen. Like Jesus. Okay. So let's read the article. So the tournament organizer for Houston Regionals has announced, and there's a hyperlink here, that an expanded format will be used for the entirety of Houston Regionals for both Swiss and Top Cut. So before it was just Top Cut. So like there'd be like a couple games, so if you get to the top, you can play expanded. But Swiss and Top Cut. This could mean that other regionals could be using expanded over a standard as well, especially if consistency is to be maintained. For now, we know this is only applying to Houston regionals. And then they talk about if it expanded becomes a bigger format, like standard is, that means it might actually focus. Every year, it might focus a bit less on rotations. Like, rotations won't really matter. And we'll just have, like, huge amount of sets. Yeah, like he says on here, formats won't really be deleted. They'll just stay here in, like, some huge format. But yeah, like he says again, it's unlikely that it's going to be phased out. Now, it's actually announced on the official Houston Pokemon page. And let's just see if we can find anything else on here. But no. But pretty much if you read the comments, you can just see, like, the cancer. And it's just like, this is a really interesting decision. On one hand, I think it's good, because there's a lot more decks that can be made. Like, think about Ray Eels can be a thing. And then you can think about Version Genesect will come back. And a lot of cards like a Pokemon Communication will come back. And just a lot of cool things like that. Unfortunately, with that, it means that Hypnotoxic Laser and Burbank City Gym will be back in the format. Now, what is the point of rotating a card like Hypnotoxic Laser that caused disgust and a lot of trouble in the format for the past 2 years? Or almost 3 years, and then it's gone, and then you guys are like, whatever, let's just put it back in here. Oh, it's just so frustrating, cause like, oh my god, we wanted to move on, and Seismito was gonna have trouble, and we could see new things. Maybe Seismito could have been a bit less viable, and we could have seen some crazy like stage 2 decks, and also maybe Vileplume trying to lock other stage 2 decks. And a more interesting dynamic, but no, we have to put Seismito back in the format and keep it still really good. Now, I don't really understand the logic behind this. You know, you're gonna play it at a couple tournaments. You're gonna play it for every region. Every regionals, there's like 2 or 3 regionals around the U.S. and Canada. And then you play expanded in top 8 or top 32, depending on how big the tournament is. And then you just kind of stop doing that in nationals and worlds. And then you say, what the hell? And then you put it back for an entire regionals? What is your logic? Like, make up your mind. What do you want to do? Okay? Like, what is this? Also, another thing is, if expanded becomes a very popular format, you know what that means? That means players that are new are harshly like discouraged to play. Like right now, you see these like 7 sets. Okay, I have to make a deck out of like 8 sets, whatever. But if you have to start making decks out of this, you know how expensive it's gonna be to find some of these cards and how hard it is. And if like cards like Pokemon Communication start becoming like rarer and stuff, and like a lot of cards that are really old, like yeah, Pokemon Communication from Black and White, and you're probably gonna have to get a playset. Black and White hasn't been in print for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. So you have to rely. Other people have it. It's gonna be hard to get locally because a lot of people are gonna want it. And also, it's just gonna be ridiculous. But again, let me look at this from a positive perspective. There's been a lot of rogues that have been found. Wailord this year. A junior played an Aegis-class Suicune deck. Like last year, I think a Manectric deck, not only X-Manectric, just a regular Manectric deck did well because of all the Yveltal. So one thing that is good that will arise from this is actually just the fact that someone might find a cool card from like Dark Explorers that connects with a cool card from like Phantom Forces that also goes well with something from Legendary Treasures. And there might be like some crazy combination of cards. That's what I'm excited about. I really want to see like the results of this regional. That's going to be exciting. I think expanded as a format is a really cool format, but I'm not sure if playing entire tournaments in it is a great idea, especially when you're not having like good testing with it on a greater scale. But yeah, also this is not gonna affect me personally because I live in Vancouver and Houston's very, very far away. But like people who are having trouble getting into the game are gonna have even more trouble. This is one of my problems. People who are having trouble with the game are gonna have even more trouble. Like, how do you expect them to get all these old cards? They come in with their like Yveltal deck, and they find out they don't have cards for like 10 sets that would be beneficial to them. Like, what do you want them to do, man? But with Ancient Origins comes out and the new stadium, and also Wally being a thing, I'm excited to see like what you can do with like fossils. For example, maybe you turn one Archeops with like use the first evolution of Archeops, I can't think of it right now, and then you Wally into it right away. And that could be exciting. That's something that could be really exciting. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything. You can do an Eels deck maybe. And also, I guess this means like Flareon and Leafeon's back, which is good. That's beneficial. Donphan will stay in format. Landorus will stay in format, which is pretty big. A big stay in format for these tournaments. Rayquaza will be back. So Eels, like I said, and maybe some other decks, like maybe a Rayquaza Manectric, Mega Manectric. Just a lot of things. And Blastoise and Emboar will stay in the format. Blastoise being a lot more important than Emboar, of course. And staying in format. Let me think. On Colress, all these cards that were beloved. So, like, as you can see, I went on a rant, and then I came back praising it. And so, at the end of this, I can't really make a good opinion on whether I like this or not until I really see how it works out. And that's what I think a lot of people have to realize. You can't really judge something before you see it play out. So, if in the top 8, there's like 7, like, stupid Seismitoad decks, and then, like, maybe, like, 1, like, Yveltal deck, okay, we're never doing this format again. But if we have like 8 rogue decks, like, or like even like 4 rogue decks, like a Wailord, or like just really cool decks that were created that are completely original, or that are strong, that utilizes all the cards, I don't think that's a bad thing. So honestly, I think this is really good to do this. I'm not necessarily saying I like it, but better to test now at the 3rd biggest tournament of the year in North America. There's the ECC, but like, I'm not going to count that. So the 3rd biggest tournaments of the year that happen a lot. It's better to test now at one tournament or maybe a couple and say, okay, if this works out well, we can do it more. We can switch it up maybe. We can see what's happening. But if it doesn't work out well, it's fine. We can just move on from the format, maybe use it only in Top Cut. So at the end of the day, I think it's good to realize that I don't think anyone should be too rash about what they think. Never jump to conclusions. Just like analyze it. I think So this might be a very good thing, but it could be bad. So I think we should just see how it plays out, and if it does well, that's good. And if it doesn't do well, we'll scratch that. We don't have to do this again. No worries. I'm not gonna say it's just the regionals because regionals can be pretty big, but there are more tournaments, and like I feel like if you put this at a bunch of cities, it wouldn't have worked, and nationals or worlds would have been too big. So I think this is a good sample size to test. I don't really want them to do this for any more of the regionals, just because that wouldn't be too good. I think it's better to just test one. Let's read a couple of the comments. It's just quite interesting. So yeah, this seems like an interesting theory. But yeah, like some of them are saying, if there might not, I don't think they're ever gonna eliminate standard as a format. Um, I don't know, like instead of having like a eight set format, having a 18 set format. Let's count this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 sets with like over like 150 promos and some of this mini sets and stuff like that, like Double Crisis, that aren't super important. So instead of having 8 sets, you have more than double that. So again, not sure how this is gonna be interesting because depending on, like, you could have a 5 set per year or 7 set per year rotation and replace those, and then have like a 15 set format, which would be kind of insane. But I don't think that's good for recommending players to come into the game because it's just like there's so much that you can't really like jump into it easily, and it'll also get very expensive very quickly. And a lot of these cards are not easy to find. For example, like Dark Explorers cards are like it's like $300-$400 a box. And now I'm just rambling, but like I want to thank you guys for watching, and leave your opinions on what you guys think down below and whether we share opinions or not. Thanks guys, and I'll see you guys next.